please like and subscribe.
Welcome back to another Crypto Bros
And a Holly Girl
podcast number 72.
Yeah, and this is one that we've been looking forward to for a long time.
Yeah.
So before we get started, let's introduce our guest. This is Dan. He's with DFS Mafia. We appreciate you coming on, and hopefully we'll have a good time and we won't put you through too much torture. So we'll get into that story a little later, but thank you seriously for coming on. Appreciate you.
Yeah,
no problem. Glad to be here.
So we're going to do things a little bit differently this week. So we have Dan. We've been wanting to talk to him for ages. And with the NFL season coming up and things like that, we're going to get into a little bit of crypto news. And then the good, the bad, the ugly. DFS Mafia is wrapped around sports. And with NFL starting next week, we're going to do a little bit of a good, bad, ugly NFL version. And then we'll get into the interview with Dan and let him tell us what's going on. If you don't know anything about DFS Mafia, I promise you, you're going to want to sit here and watch that interview because it is something that we've been following for a long time. And without going to any more, we'll get to that in just a few more minutes, okay? So, crypto news. So normally we do the good, the bad, the ugly, but the last couple of weeks, we have had a really hard time figuring out what's the ugly of the crypto world. Yep. There has been some ugly on Twitter. We're not even going to get into that because just let that fly.
X.
But let's talk about what's going on. So in no particular order, this is just how I happen to write it down, and feel free to chime in. So something we signed up for, I don't know what it was now, 14, 15 months ago, is actually coming out. The only issue is we don't live in the UK. So the Safemoon card is actually coming out. And we signed up, I think it was a year ago, June, and waited and saw updates and just got an update this week that it's coming out in the UK. So what do you guys think about all that news?
I'm excited. I'm excited because they're making due on their promise.
Well, it's
in the right direction.
Right, but it's the same thing with what they talked about the exchange too, right? They were going to launch it in the UK first, just because, well, I'm sure Dan can tell us a lot about regulations and things like that in the United States, but none of that stuff happens with a snap of the fingers. It takes a while. So, but you're right. They delivered on a promise they've been talking about for a long time. I'm really curious to see where it goes from here, see how long it takes for it to get to the United States, and see what happens with it. I feel like it's something that's going to evolve over time, and I'm here for it, and we'll just have to wait and see. With that being said, BBTF. So our friends over at BBTF, it's their birthday month, and so they've come out with some stuff, but their staking is really what's kind of been the talk of the town this week. And Holly, you want to go into that a little bit, because I know that you have experienced it and you've worked it, and kind of give us like a Holly review of BBTF staking.
I have become a compounder every day. I was not a fan. You guys know I don't go in my wallet every day. However, my rewards have been kind of exciting. And when you really look at the bigger picture, the more if you compound every day, the next day is actually getting your rewards from that include what you compounded the day before. So as long as the compounding, or as long as you have tokens that cover, or probably I would say, that are more than what the fee's going to be, to compound that, I say do it, because the next day you're compounding on a lot more. Well, it's not like a whole lot more, but it's a pretty good. I think I'm making probably about $6 to $7 a day right now. It's not great, but it's free money, right? Like that's how I look at it.
And but it's also based on how much you have staked too, right?
Exactly. Okay.
So if I have a giant bag, I could make $40, $50, $60 a day.
Exactly.
Right.
And so, it costs to do through Trust Wallet, it's 55 cents, 55 to 57 cents to compound there, whereas with Safemoon, it's 90 cents through the Safemoon wallet. However, I do believe that they're going to be making a change. It's a default setting. And it's as easy as Trust Wallet has their, I don't know how to say it. It's GWEI. I call it GUI, and I got like made fun of for calling it GUI. I don't know how to say it. What?
Yeah.
But anyway,
me either. I'm not even going to try. I can't even pronounce guest names sometimes. So
yeah. But they have theirs defaulted as 2, whereas Safemoon has theirs defaulted higher, and so it's an easy, change of a number, and then they can get it as low as Trust Wallet. So I do believe that they are going to be looking into that very soon. It's just a default setting. It happens to everybody. So.
Well, don't get me started with Trust Wallet, because they kind of irked me over the last couple months with their updates, kind of jacked up some of my stuff, and I know it jacked up some staking options for other projects and things like that. So, but hopefully they'll get that fixed soon enough. And they may have after a while. I kind of stopped trying, so we'll see what happens.
I still am like kind of impressed by their platform, their staking platform too. It is super simple, and then you can see everybody who has it staked, how much money everybody has staked. I mean, it's a pretty good setup. I'm impressed with them, and they did a great job on that. And so far, I haven't really seen anybody try to FUD it, saying anything. The rewards are obviously based on volume. They've had a higher tick volume, so come a month down the road, the volume may lower, as it always does, depending on how the market goes. So our rewards might not be as great, but right now we're reaping those benefits. So.
Well, and we talked about that several times, and our guests today, they have staking with their token too, and it's you have to make it easy enough for the masses to use it. And I know for a fact that DFS Mafia staking platform is easy too. It's super easy.
Yeah.
It usually takes me 3 seconds to compound and be done. And that's it. I mean, it's connect my wallet, compound it, or you could take it out, and it's super fast. And sign out, disconnect wallet, I'm done. And
I'm gonna need somebody to come up with, Dan, auto compounding, so I don't have to worry about it. Because it drives me crazy, you guys.
We're working on that, because with the Wallet Connect V2 update, that screwed up some people's. Like, I know a lot of our holders that have Trust Wallet are having issues connecting with the V2 Wallet Connect. So everybody with like MetaMask or Safemoon or anything, they don't seem to have any issues, but Trust Wallet seems to be the one. So I mean, I've sent out a notification to everybody about how, if you have issues connecting your wallet because of the Wallet Connect update, there's actually ways to unstake your tokens without even connecting to the DApp, things like that. But we're probably redoing the whole staking contract to make it even better. And I like the auto compound feature, things like that. So we'll see what we come out with that.
Yeah, I know. I get, like, because you have to pay the chain fee, whatever that may be, and so that kind of is where the hiccup kind of is. But I feel like there's gotta be a way. If I think of it, I'll let you know.
Essentially, it sounds like you just have to somehow give it permission to do that. Like, without giving away too much information, that's something that's very similar to how our fantasy sports platform is set up for the crypto side, which we know the crypto side's not turned on, but it is all built. We're just working on the banking issue with it, but that's one of the things that allows is there's a way to give it permission so that if you win a contest, the tokens can be automatically sent back from our contract without having to give it approval on every single one of them. So there's ways.
Awesome.
Yeah,
well,
that
I'm
sounds
happy
awesome.
to hear that you're looking into it, because that will make my life 10 times easier.
Well,
just for you, Ollie.
Thanks.
I will tell you, and we'll get into this a little bit later too, that DFS Mafia has been at the forefront of a lot of different things that we've never seen when it comes to some of the things that they're doing. So I want to put it past Dan to get that figured out.
Yeah,
for sure. Last thing, unless you guys got anything, I just want to give a shout out to our friend out there, Chris Vaughn. He is getting ready to be part of an X-Punk party. I don't know what they're calling it, what everything's going on, but he's actually going to be one of the featured DJs there. And I told him if I don't get FaceTime while he's in Amsterdam at this Expo convention, I'm gonna be upset. So we'll see if that actually happens or how that goes down. But I just wanted to wish him best of luck. I believe that that's coming up within the next 6 days, 7 days. I can't remember exactly the date of it, but
soon.
Yeah, because I've got another buddy that's headed out there on Monday, and I know that he's not going to going just for that, but he will be out there for it too. So best of luck to those guys. Some of our favorites, and we don't normally do this, but I did want to let everybody know that we have been blessed with not only having like Dan on today, but we've had Vitris, we've had Ignite the Chain. Next week we actually are going to have Nobility on, and we've got some other guests lined up that we can't tell you who they are yet, but we're going to be super busy over the next few weeks. So stay tuned, because this is sort of what we always dreamed where we would get to where we would be able to connect with some of these people, and it's happening, and we are super excited about it. So just stay tuned for that. So like I said earlier, we're going to get into the good, the bad, the ugly, but this week it's going to be NFL version, since it's where preseason games are over and regular season started. So okay, so here's how I thought we might do things today, guys. And I know I've been a little bit kind of not secretive really about how we would do this, but there's two divisions that most of the people in this podcast care about, and that would be the AFC East and the AFC West. So we're going to do those last. Okay. So the first division I want to talk about is the NFC East. So since this is the good, the bad, the ugly, let's do it like this. Who do you think is going to win the NFC East?
I'm going to go with the Bucks.
The who?
Tampa Bay.
They're not in the East.
Oh shit! I have it.
It's either the Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, or Washington.
Yes,
man, we're getting off to a great start.
No, I keep looking. I don't know why. Like you said, the AFC East, right?
No, that's gonna be last. NFC East.
Oh.
Cowboys, Eagles, Giants, or
Washington football team.
Yeah, Washington football team, which is still funny to me. So I'll go ahead and go first. I'm going to pick the Eagles to win it.
Okay, I was going to go with the Eagles, but
I think that they're loaded. I think that there's going to be more competition within their division. They are going to play a pretty tough schedule because they won the division last year. But I don't think that they did lose a few key pieces on defense. But I do think for the most part, that's probably the most complete team. Like the team that could have an injury and it wouldn't necessarily completely derail them. So that's who I'm going with the good. You guys all agree, or does anybody have a different opinion?
I would have to say the Eagles, yes. As long as nobody says the Cowboys.
Davis is going to like it, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the Cowboys are going to upset the Eagles, only because I think Jalen Hurts is going to have. I mean, I know it's not a sophomore year, but I see that sophomore slump. You look at the last, 10 quarterbacks that have gone their first trip to the Super Bowl and lost have never gotten back to the Super Bowl.
That's a big time stat right there.
That's a big stat to think about. So I always make fun of a guy in our community, Incredible Hawk. I'm sure you guys know him. He's a big Bengals fan. I said the same thing about Joe Burrow. Burrow lost in his first year, so he's never going back. I think he will be the one to break that. But I don't know. Cowboys look dangerous. It all comes down to how Dak plays and if he doesn't throw too many interceptions. But I think their defense is pretty stacked. As much as I hate to say that, because being a Bills fan, you can hate on the Cowboys too. But I can see them upsetting the Eagles in that division.
Okay. Greg, you got an opinion on this?
I'd have to go with the Eagles. Yeah.
Okay.
That's just
Caleb?
Yeah.
Eagles. I think they'll repeat.
You think they'll go to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, that's my guess.
Oh, wow.
It's possible. Yeah, I'm with you, Dan. I think that if anybody's going to break that, it's probably going to be Jalen. I feel like that they've got a lot of weapons around him, but they have some new weapons in Swift in there, and Sanders went to Carolina, and so we'll have to see how all that meshes and things like that. So the bad in this, so we'll go good, bad, the ugly. The bad is, who do you think is going to be in the middle? And I'll just straight up tell you, Cowboys and then Giants is how I look at it, because I think the Cowboys do have a chance of winning that division, but I'm going to put them second, Giants third.
I agree. I agree with
I think
that.
I think it's 1 and 2 that are up for grabs. I think 3 would be the Giants, 4 would be obviously Washington.
Yeah, so Washington is the ugly one because I hate their team name. But 2, it's also really, really weird to me that Bieniemy would leave Kansas City to go to Washington, which I don't even really feel like is a lateral move, except you get out from underneath the shadow of Andy Reid. But there's already been issues in the preseason with Bieniemy and some of the players going to Ron Rivera saying he's too mean and this and that. And there was a little bit of that in Kansas City that always got squashed. But I think there may end up being some truth there that maybe he's not really a player's coach. So we'll see what happens in that division. So for the most part, we all agree either Eagles, Cowboys, and then Giants, Washington.
Yeah.
We can get behind that.
There's a chance that Washington's going to change their name back to the Redskins.
I hope they do.
Yeah, I saw a petition out there. I don't really know how that works. So they'll always be the Redskins to me just because I'm old and I don't do change very well. So that's just how it's going to be. All right, NFC North. You got the Bears, Lions, Vikings, and Packers. Who do you guys think is going to be the good out of that?
The Packers.
I got the Lions.
Ooh.
Lions.
Wow.
I agree with the Lions.
I'd say Packers.
I think the Packers.
I think the Packers are going to be a bust. I think Jordan Love is going to be a complete bust.
So, Dan, you and I are exactly right. I picked the Packers last in that division this year.
Wow.
I do.
I don't know.
Sorry, Bearded.
I don't think they're going to be as good as people are giving them.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, too. I think this is the division that's the most up for grabs. I think any one of those teams that get on a hot streak and they beat each other up a little bit could come out and win this division. But I'm going to say that the Lions take a little bit of a step backwards, and I'm going to go with the Bears, actually, and see if they can't make that happen. I think their GM has made some pretty underrated moves on defense, and I don't know if their quarterback Fields is going to be good enough or not, but I just feel like that division's pretty weak, and it's ripe for the taking for the Lions to take it, but I also don't trust Jared Goff. So I've actually got the Bears winning it. I'm not even a Chicago fan, so yeah. So I figured that might be an unpopular pick, but so who's everybody else got winning it?
I still am going with Packers.
Yeah, Packers.
Really? I just don't think the Packers are going to be there. So I'm writing this down. We're gonna look at this when the season's over.
Yeah, do it. Yes. We must know.
So obviously, I've got the Lions second and the Vikings third. I think that it very well could end up being Lions, Vikings, then Bears. I just think this division's. Yeah. I think this division is just so far up in the air. It's hard to say. So.
Yeah, I would have to agree. But
all right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I think it's Green Bay, Detroit, Vikings, the Bears.
Well, I'm really hoping Detroit lays an egg on Thursday because they go up against the Chiefs and the Chiefs home opener without Chris Jones. So
wow.
We'll see what happens.
Ugh.
So NFC South.
The Bucks.
No way the Bucks are winning the South. No way.
This one's a hand me.
You who? Okay, I want to hear who you think. The Saints.
Saints.
I'm going with Saints. I think Derek Carr's going to have an awesome year. I think he's got the weapons, and I think he's out to prove something. And I don't believe he was the biggest problem in Las Vegas.
The Saints have like the easiest record on the schedule too. I'm telling you right now, they will win that division by multiple games and win the playoffs. So
I agree with you. I saw something on that. I forget they only play. Caleb, maybe you saw the same thing. They only play like 2 quarterbacks all year that I forget what it was, have like finished in the top 5 or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but the
pretty
schedules for all of them are really, really weak, but the Saints is especially weak. And I think they're gonna go. I think they're gonna win that division. Now they may get smashed in the first round of the playoffs, but because I think that division is super sad.
Trash.
But yeah, trash. There you go, Caleb. But so I've got the Panthers coming in second, at the Falcons third, and then the ugly for me is the Bucks, because I don't think they have anything.
Yeah, I actually do. I think their quarterback Trask is gonna. Yeah,
I
think so.
I can't get behind that.
Write it down, because I feel like I'm right. I really feel like I'm right on this one.
I'm gonna put your initials right next to the Bucks.
Yep.
I
We'll
can't. Yeah. So you want to make a bet on this, Holly?
I would, yeah, because I won't bet against anything with the Rams. So yes,
let's bet some DFS Mafia on it.
I was just about to say, let's do that.
Sold.
All right, how much? What are we betting?
I don't know. I'll whatever you think. I'll bet
$100 of DFS Mafia.
Sold.
Okay, so here's.
Okay, wait. Who's yours though? Wait, time out.
Okay, so here's the deal. I'm picking the Saints. You're picking the Bucks. And if neither one of them wins it, it's a draw. We don't pay.
Okay.
I win.
Okay. No, Caleb doesn't.
Remember this. Write it down.
What'd you say, Dan?
I said we should just do whoever finishes higher in the division.
Good with that?
Oh yeah.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, go ahead and buy your $100 with the DFS Mafia now, so I can have more tokens when it skyrockets. So my tokens will be worth more, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
All right. So NFC West.
Hey, that's mine.
That's an easy
That's
one.
your division, Holly. Are you picking the Rams?
I want to. I mean, my heart is picking the Rams. I will always pick the Rams.
Don't bet on that one.
No.
Yeah. I will never bet on my team because I feel like I jinx them. So I just made it. But I'm going to go with the 49ers.
I'm right there with you. That's who I'm picking in this division. Especially after Stafford came out, or his wife came out and said that he can't gel with the young kids, and she's got flashcards with their faces on it. It's so hilarious. Like this guy, like Starburst, and all this stuff on the back, and he's like, and then he'll tell her the name of the person.
Yeah, I just read that. It was, yeah.
You know there's got to be flashcards in that locker room now. I was telling Caleb that off camera. I was like, there's flashcards where there's some people are like making fun of this deal.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
I think they lost like 24-0 last game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
It might have been even more than that. But they didn't score nothing.
Well, they went all in to win a Super Bowl, and the salary cap ramifications are catching up to them big time right now. So, all right, so let's get.
Are the Rams going to be better than the Cardinals?
Yes.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah. So I've got
Arizona. Like I'm a Cardinals fan.
I hope so.
No.
I've got Rams third and Cardinals fourth, but that might be a little closer than people think too. Although I think the Cardinals are probably the worst team in the NFL.
Who? The Cardinals?
Cardinals.
Oh, I would say.
Yeah, it might be a tie between the two. Yeah. It'll be a race to see who can get the quarterback out of USC.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's go to the AFC where the Super Bowl winner is going to come out of. And I think we can all but Holly agree with that. We just may not agree on the same team. So let's go AFC North. Got Ravens, Steelers, Browns, and Bengals. Who you guys think is going to win that division?
The Bangs.
Bengals.
Yeah, I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody else has got the firepower. I believe the Ravens will come in second. If they can somehow beat them twice, then maybe they can win that division. But I do think that if the Ravens win the division, then the Bengals are still getting in a wild card. I think that just means the Ravens had an outstanding year, and I think their record will be good enough to get into there. Who you guys got picked? Go ahead.
Ravens almost beat the Bengals last year with their third-string quarterback.
Yeah.
It's a close game. So
I was rooting for it. Yeah. Who do you think is coming in last? Let's just go straight to that.
I think the Steelers.
Okay.
I'm
they just killed Aaron Jones.
I think they're gonna have not a good year. I'll say the Steelers are gonna have like a 10-7 year.
Plus, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
not
I was thinking 9-8, 10-7, something like that too. I picked the Browns to come in last just because they're the Browns, and until they do something different,
Flush
I'm
it
always
down.
going to pick them last.
Flush
No,
it down.
I don't know. I think the Browns might surprise us. I really do.
Maybe. I
We'll see.
I'm not
I'm
making a
holding
bet
back
on that one.
lots of jokes.
Let's say that again.
Yeah.
I said I'm holding back on the Deshaun Watson jokes.
Yeah, I. Yeah, we'll just leave that alone. I don't know if we got that edit button quite ready for that or
Right.
not. So let's go AFC South.
Oh, that's easy. Jags.
Yeah, I think it's easy too.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody.
I
I
got
think
money on the
that's
team.
you got money on the Jags. So So I think the real question is, who do you guys think is coming in second in that division?
Oh, I feel like this division's up for grabs. Ugh.
This division's not very strong either, but
Yeah.
I think second place could be interesting.
I think
The Texans.
Hard to say.
I don't know. Titans quarterback situation bothers me.
Yeah, I think.
I
Yeah,
think the Colts they're going to be horrible, and I think the Texans are going to be horrible. So I think I don't know. I will go Titans second.
that's exactly where I went. I went Titans second, Colts third, and then I think the Texans have a chance of being the worst team right there with the Cardinals. So that division is
They need a lot
not.
more.
Yeah, that division's not very. It's very top heavy with the Jags, and then everybody else I think is going to be horrible. So, but the NFL has a way of proving me wrong. So that's why I don't live in a penthouse, and because of that. So who knows? We'll see. All right, so we'll go AFC East, which I know this division has a very soft spot in your heart, Dan. Who are you picking to win the AFC East?
Yeah.
Oh.
The Bills.
You know, honestly, I was gonna, even if you weren't, I would have went for the Bills. I think.
Okay.
What I like about this season, even though the AFC East is stacked and everybody's stacking the AFC East, the difference from last year to this year is two things. One, we have at some point we're having entirely healthy defense that we did not have from the beginning of last year because Micah Hyde went out week 2, was out for the whole season. Hoyer was battling injury all year. Von Miller went down in the first half of the season. Our secondary, our star three in the secondary haven't played a game together in like 675 days or something crazy, almost 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I think with the pressure off of them being the expected Super Bowl champs like they were last year, now they're playing more of an underdog style, and I think that'll fuel them.
Yeah, I agree with you, and there's something to be said about that underdog style too, because even though I think that Patrick Mahomes gets a lot of credit, he's always trying to find ways to become the underdog so he can use that billboard material. And I think sometimes when it's expected, sometimes the moment gets too big for people, and rightfully so, especially when you're dealing with injuries and things like that. We had that with the Chiefs a couple years ago. We made it to the Super Bowl, but our offensive line was horrid. By the time we actually got there, I think we had one starter that was healthy, and we were playing a bunch of backups and got destroyed by the Buccaneers. So I guess the question then is, who comes in second?
This, I think, all relies on if Tua is healthy.
Okay.
If Tua stays healthy, we think the Dolphins take second.
Same.
If he's not healthy, then I see the Jets. I think it's not. Yeah, Patriots are finishing last in this division.
I agree with you 100%. Although I'm going to switch it on you. I think that you're looking at it all hinges on how Aaron Rodgers does. Like, I do agree that Tua being healthy is super important, but we've seen a Green Bay quarterback go to New York before. I feel like I've seen this story, and I'm not saying it'll be the same, but I just don't know that that's going to work. You start throwing all those pieces together, there's something to be said about a team. I think when you look at, we'll change sports for a second, but when you look at when the Royals won the World Series, they didn't have the megastars on that team. They had like a team, 25 guys that loved one another and went to war with one another every day, and they just fed off one another. When you start signing huge contracts, and even when you can take health out of it, a lot of times you see these, especially in baseball, these giant payrolls do nothing. So I don't know how well they're going to mesh in New York. I'm with you though. I picked the Dolphins second, the Jets third, and then the Pats to mop up that division. So
Basement feeder.
what's that?
I said the basement feeder.
Yeah, and which I'm all good about too, because for too many years we had to watch the Patriots go to the Super Bowl.
Too
and
many.
and I'll be honest with you, I don't hate the Bills, but my childhood memory, one of my first football, not it wasn't my very first, but one of my memories, I was probably a senior in high school when this happened, was I believe it was Daryl Talley with the Bills giving Joe Montana a concussion in the AFC Championship game, and I've hated them ever since. As we had not made it to the AFC Championship game since we won Super Bowl IV, and we finally made it, and then Joe Montana goes out with a concussion, and the game ended up being a blowout, and I was mad, and it ruined my next month of life, and so I've kind of hated the Bills ever since. But so let's go to the AFC West. Who do we think's winning the AFC West?
Should be the Chiefs. Would think.
The Raiders.
Oh, Sam.
I got the Raiders as the ugly. I have them being the dead last team in the AFC
I'm
West.
turn you off.
Well, I just this division isn't that strong either. The Broncos, the
I think
Chargers.
the Broncos are going to
played pretty
be
well.
improved over last year, though. I think the Chargers are the second team in that division.
Yeah, I would go.
But I will tell you, injuries played a little bit of a part in their demise and some things like that, too. I don't know that they had their two studs at wide receiver healthy, except for like 3 games all year at the same time. So I think it's going to be harder than people think. I'm going to pick the Chiefs, but I think the Chargers are going to be right there. And I have a feeling the Chargers and Chiefs may split that because for whatever reason, the Chargers seem to be able to come to Kansas City and beat us. I don't know if it's every year, but it seems like it's every year. And so I'm going to have the Chiefs winning that, but I don't know that it would not shock me, I guess, if the Chargers came out of that division. Especially depending on how long Chris Jones holds out for. If he doesn't come back till week 8, we may have 3 or 4 losses already.
That's true.
Whoa.
Because he basically is our pass rush, except for when we blitz. So
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think, Dan? I know you love the Chiefs.
I still think the Chiefs take it, but same thing. Would not be surprised if the Chargers end up squeaking them out. I think it's all going to come down to because I think Mahomes has less weapons now, even from last year. So if all of a sudden they start getting injury riddled on their wide receiving core, or God forbid something like Travis Kelce goes down,
Right.
then I think they're in trouble. I think there's too much, and then obviously the Chris Jones situation, but there's too much like 1 or 2 major injuries on the Chiefs offense could really derail everything. Whereas, I mean, obviously the quarterback situation for either team is the same, but
Sure.
you look at who the Chargers have, if they lose, a wide receiver, they've got another wide receiver that's just as equally as good between, Williams and Allen. They got Austin Eckler. I just think that this year they are going to be better than they were. I think they'll be a little bit more responsible in the offense. So I don't know. I gotta say, I still think the Chiefs take it, but I think it'll be closer than people think.
So let's ask one last question then, because I really want to get into our interview here with you, Dan. One last question: who's coming out of the AFC? Or first, let's do this. Who's the number 1 seed in the AFC?
See, this is where it comes down to. I think that it all depends. I could see the Chiefs taking the number 1 seed if they have the type of season that people are expecting. But then at the same time, if the Chiefs struggle at all, I think it'll end up being whoever wins the AFC East, which could be the Bills. I think the Bills take it, but I mean there's a couple teams that really have a tough schedule. The Bills are, I think, ranked like number 6 for the toughest schedule in the league. So same thing with the Jets. The Jets, they start out like that Monday Night Football game is everything, because if the Jets lose, then I think they got like Kansas City, Dallas, Philly. They've got like 5 really hard games in the first like 6 weeks, so they could snowball really quick. But
See, so I'm wondering if somebody like the Jags don't snag the number 1 seed just because of how poor their division is. I don't know if that'll work out that way or not. But I'm curious if this year if we don't get somebody like that as the number one seed. I don't think the Jags have what it takes to get to the Super Bowl, but I could see them being the number one seed and then getting beat in the next, even just the next round, depending on who those matchups would be. So, do we have a Super Bowl matchup prediction? Greg, who do you think is going to be in the Super Bowl?
So hard.
Chiefs for sure.
Okay, Chiefs versus who?
Bengals.
The guy can't be the Super Bowl chief.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, hold on.
And this is where you woke up and realized this was all a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say we just lost.
Yeah, the
just
Packers. Packers.
Greg, quit smoking
Bro,
crack.
That was last year's guess.
Well, I know
Yeah,
I
that's
want
what
it
you
really
said
bad
last
though,
year.
because my sister's family are hard. They're all hardcore cheeseheads, so I would love to see the Chiefs.
Well, they're
whoop
gonna have
them
a really
in the
long
Super Bowl.
year.
And I want them to celebrate like the 49ers did and then lose. That'd be great.
Wow.
Caleb, who do you think's in the Super Bowl?
I'll say repeat. Chiefs, Eagles.
And who's winning?
Chiefs. Hopefully.
Okay.
Get there, they better win.
Holly,
Just
who
gotta
do you
say.
think's in the Super Bowl?
No,
Don't say the Rams.
I'm not. I want to so bad, but I'm not. But I do think that the 49ers may actually be in there.
Oh.
Versus who?
Another-
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm like,
49ers all over our quarterback situation. If Purdy can put up a type of year like he did last year, then they're favorites, but who knows?
Yeah.
no, I don't know.
All right, Dan, who are you picking in the Super Bowl?
It's too hard for me.
I got the Bills and the Cowboys. The Bills winning. Redemption.
Wow.
Super Bowl.
I think the
Redemption,
Bills
yeah.
have a good chance too. They really
do.
do.
All right, so I know what my heart tells me to say. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and go with the Chiefs. But I think they're going to play the 49ers. I don't know about the quarterback situation, but I think their defense is tough. I think their division is eh. And I think that if Purdy can just not turn the ball over, then they might be okay. I just can't see the Chiefs winning back-to-back Super Bowls because that's just not in my cards as a Chiefs fan. I was a fan before like Marty Schottenheimer when we couldn't win 2 games in a year. And so I'm used to disappointment except for the last few years. And I've been shocked and I just can't see them winning it. But I'm going to pick them anyways. I can't help it. So
I've got a little extra prediction for you. So
Okay.
I predicted it last year, and it almost happened, except for that DeMar Hamlin situation screwed it up. So I predicted the way the Bills get over the hump against Kansas City is the Bills win the AFC or the AFC. The Chiefs have to come to Buffalo, and that's where Allen beats up on Mahomes in the playoffs. They go to the Super Bowl and win it, and that's how we do.
do you think that's because of weather or do you think that's because of just
I think
home
it's
field?
just. I mean, the weather. Both stadiums are loud. Both stadiums are
Cold in
super
January.
cold. I mean, it's horrible weather, but I think it's just the atmosphere. Like being in a Bills game and having them behind the team. I think everybody wants it. Everybody was trying to hope for it for last year. That was why it was such a big deal about what are we going to do about the rankings for home field advantage for the AFC Championship game if it came down to the Bills versus the Chiefs, because the Bills didn't lose and had the number 1 seed going into that game against the Bengals, and they never lost. They won 7 straight games and they held the number 1 seed. Yes, we don't know what the outcome would have been against the Bengals, but I think that was the thing, is that the Bills and the Bengals both beat the Chiefs in the regular season, but yet then the Chiefs got the number 1 seed by default.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I could see this being a little storyline the NFL feeds off of. Nothing scripted.
Hasn't the Chiefs hosted the AFC Championship game like 4 years in a row now or something like that?
I think
Which
so,
they
yeah.
never hosted before until that streak started. Or maybe, how many years, Caleb? 5? Yeah, because they lost to New England in the first one.
Yeah.
And then they beat, I don't remember who they beat to go to the Super Bowl the first time when they won it. I don't know. And then they lost, or then they beat. Wow, I can't remember who they played in the AFC Championship game. Also, yeah, they lost to Cincinnati when they didn't go to the Super Bowl, and then they beat
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati and somebody else.
Because
the Bills. Yeah. Well, was the
back?
Bills Chiefs game where all those points were scored? That wasn't the AFC Championship game, was
it?
Oh,
that was the divisional round. The year before. The year before is when we lost. You had the picture of Diggs watching you guys celebrate.
That's right. Yeah. Yes.
And then the next year was the shootout game.
Yeah, and then we lost to Cincinnati that same year, I think, in the next round. But yeah, we won't go into that seam route that Kelsey and Hill both ran, but yeah, unbelievable. I still see it on feeds.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the good, the bad, the ugly. Like I said, a little bit different this week, a little bit longer this week, but we're gonna get our picks out there. Now we got some DFS Mafia bet on some things. So Holly, I wish you no luck, and I hope to take all of your DFS Mafia by the end of it.
How rude.
So speaking of DFS Mafia, Dan, again, welcome to the program. We appreciate having you on, and tell us a little bit about yourself if you want to, how you got started, but specifically your project also.
So, I mean, I'll go from the beginning. I mean, the idea came to me because I'm big and obviously into sports and been in crypto for like 6-7 years now. And I wanted to launch a project, but I didn't want to just launch a meme coin or something that, didn't have any true utility behind it. I'm big into playing fantasy sports and sports betting. I've been doing that for like, I don't know, 10, 15 years. And, I'm a 6-figure earner on FanDuel. I've done really well on their contests and stuff. So I think one night I was setting a FanDuel lineup up, and that's the light bulb moment hit me of let's mix fantasy sports and crypto, two things I'm passionate about, that I can get behind. And I did my research and realized that there really wasn't anything to the level of my, idea that had been being implemented within the space. So I spent about 9-10 months, kind of game planning exactly what I want to do, how I want to do it. And then I launched the project back in December of 2021. And we were super successful early on, a lot of hype behind us with, all grassroots. We didn't do any marketing or ads or anything like that. I think the craziest story too was that we launched, one of the mistakes I would say I made too was just not launching with more liquidity. So we kind of had to make up for that over the time. But we launched at $1,000 market cap, $1,000 market cap, and took that up to 25 mil within the first 30 days. And
holy crap!
But I mean, it worked out. We gained some major investors. We've got some private investors that initially they gave us $300,000 to build out their platform. We're a zero-debt company. We raised all the money just based on some ownership of the platform revenue, and then later on actually raised another couple $100,000. So overall, we've been able to raise about $500,000 in funds without taking out loans or giving an arm and a leg to a venture capitalist firm. So it's been an exhilarating ride. But I mean, we launched the platform just under a year ago, and started really just building out what we have and building out even in a bear market.
Yeah. So I did not know you were that successful on FanDuel, because I've tried that several times and I'm not very good at it because I bet too much with my heart instead of my brain. And so that's very impressive. So let me ask you, so just for a little bit of background for those that are watching and maybe haven't seen us before, and we've been talking about your project since the beginning. So we were in it early. We've been tracking it since day one. I believe we may have been the one that told Holly about it when it came to that, and she was all excited about it because she's a huge sports fan too. But when it came down to what you were doing, I don't really see any copycats out there. If there are, there haven't been very successful. So how are you able to do that with the vision that you have, and not have people that are trying to copy what you've got going on? Is there a strategy there? Or?
No, I mean, honestly, the crazy part about it is it's because we're doing things by the book. Like, we have one of the largest attorney firms in the nation in the sports and or fantasy sports and crypto. Fantasy sports and sports betting industry representing us, and this is what they specialize in. That was really big to us to make sure we had somebody that's knowledgeable in the space, because the biggest thing, we didn't want to come into this like a lot of, I think, big area a lot of crypto projects come into, is they just think because it's crypto they can do what they want, there's no regulations, or they can get away with things too, and that's just not the case. Like, we got our letter of opinion. We actually initially started as an LLC, and then when we brought on the attorneys, we dissolved the LLC and formed an actual corporation out of Delaware, which is big for shareholding and just fundraising later on as well. A lot of fantasy sports companies and sports betting firms are formed out of Delaware for legal and tax purposes too, so that really helps us. But I mean, it's a lot of projects don't take the time to look into what this space really involves. That you can't just operate in the United States without certain things. There's only certain states you can operate in without being licensed. And then a lot of the ones that even if you get licensed, there's taxes on them. They pay on monthly, quarterly, annual basis as well. That's really got to get a CPA involved. It's just, there's a lot that goes into it. And then like our platform, we've got a geolocation tracker that tracks where people are coming from. So if they're in a non-licensed state, it sends them to our free side of the site where they can still play on the platform and win money without depositing cash. And then we've got KYC set up. That's another thing that's big in the crypto or in the fantasy sports world. And then just there's a lot of other things, like we've had to go through all the banking regulations to just get the fiat side set up, our merchant set up. So it's just, I've seen a lot of actual companies or projects come out that try to somewhat copy what we're doing. Nothing to the extent of what we're doing with integrating our token and the full crypto ecosystem built into it. But I've seen a lot of them that have done fantasy sports and crypto, and most of them were rugged or just gave up on the project because the actual legal ramifications outweigh what they could possibly make.
Yeah, because there were actually rules they had to follow.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't research that very well. You bring up an interesting point. So where I live in Missouri, my land, one of my fences is the Kansas border. So in Missouri, I can't use platforms like that, but in Kansas, I can. So if I live in Missouri, what's that?
So you just walk over the corner of your property and.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. So does it matter where my address is, or can I just walk over to Kansas and do it
That's where
there?
your phone's at.
Yeah, because for example, I was driving up from Florida recently, and I was trying to actually place a sports bet while I was on the road, and I forgot what state I was in, but it was blocking me from actually using the platform because of the state I was located in. So it has nothing to do with your physical address. It's all based on your physical location.
I'm in then, because it's literally a 2-minute walk to Kansas from where I live. I just got to walk to the other end of my property. So let me ask you this.
Wait, I have a question on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
How about using a VPN? How do you navigate that situation?
Can't really speak too much on that. We refer in our Telegram, Victor Nancy Papa. VPNs are used for what they are. A lot of our geolocation will block it or catch it, but VPNs are made for a reason, so they're sometimes able to get through. And that's, as long as on our end we're doing everything we possibly can do to stay within legal ramifications, then we're doing what we can. So we've got it set up. We're using reputable companies doing that. Like I said, the KYC process too for withdrawal process, but some VPNs are pretty good.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this then too on that. So security has probably got to be a really big thing that you guys have to worry about when it comes to that. It is nice to know that as long as you're doing what you can on your end, then it doesn't really affect if somebody gets smart. But security wise, is there anything that you guys do differently than other people or have to do differently because of what you're doing with your fantasy sports?
Not really, because our funds are the nice thing right now, the way we have it set up is if you're withdrawing through one system, I actually have to manually approve it on the back end. So there's a checks and balances process in the back end to ensure that there's no fraudulent activity. If someone hacked your account and tried to withdraw your funds, I can actually see that. The other thing is that you're linked to a specific bank account within your account. So if you're trying to withdraw funds, again, I can see the transaction. We haven't had any issues. I mean, we've been pretty good, and we have certain setups with our devs to check for any type of activity or if anybody's trying to create duplicate accounts or anything like that. But our back dashboard is pretty intuitive and gives us a lot of access to everything that's happening.
So I'm gonna ask you a couple questions because I do believe there's going to be a lot of people that are watching this that don't know much about what you got going on, and I may know the answer to this already, but you don't just have football on your platform, correct? So can
No,
you
we
tell
do.
the what you
Yeah,
have going on there?
yeah. So we do all the four major sports. So we got NFL, MLB, NBA, and NHL, and then we have a custom contest that's. Okay, 1 second. That call coming in. And then we also have combat sports where I can actually create contests for MMA, boxing, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've had some watch parties with those too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, had a couple of UFC fighters did some watch parties with. Actually had the representative of one of them reach out to us that was interested in doing kind of a partnership deal. So we're exploring that too.
Very cool. And you've got some pretty cool sponsors that have been on Twitter and pretty active with that.
Yeah, actually, we just had a former NFL player, Demarius Randall. He popped into our Telegram just yesterday, and was hanging out with us too. So he's one of our biggest supporters. He's personally invested a lot of money into our company as well, or into the tokens. He's bought some pretty large buys, so he's all in, and we're doing some NFTs with him. And actually, one of the other things, I'll give a little peek into what our future plans are, but we want to branch off into doing fantasy sports for esports and gaming. And he's really big into gaming and streaming, so it'll be another thing that we're working on with him.
Wow. Okay.
Cool.
So for the people that don't know, when I go to your platform to play fantasy sports, am I using the DFS Mafia token?
Not yet. So that's like the biggest thing, biggest catalyst of what's going to catapult us, because once that happens, it's game over for us. The that's what sets us apart from every other fantasy sports platform. Nobody truly has not just cryptocurrency integrated into fantasy sports, but an actual ecosystem and building a token where it's used as utility. And I'll get into a little bit more detail how that works, but um, I've actually had some really good calls in the last couple of days. The only thing that's held us back from turning on the crypto on the platform is banking regulations. Pretty much every bank that we've talked to either says they're okay with fantasy sports, but they're not okay with crypto, or they're okay with crypto, but they're not okay with fantasy sports. That's the biggest reason why nobody in this space is doing what we're doing, because nobody's done it before. Um, but I had some really, really good conversations. Actually, had a business call today with a CEO of a company, and there might be something there. Um, we kind of just had to think outside the box and go a different route. And I'll give a props to Kyle from Nobility. He put me in touch with this guy, so um, we're looking pretty good. But yeah, I mean, once that happens, the token will be actually integrated into the platform. It's already built and ready to go. We have the full build out. It's hidden on the platform right now because we don't have the bank approval. But once it's integrated, you'll be able to enter contests using our token. It'll be paid out using our token, which will create volume within the platform using a transfer tax. So essentially, our fantasy sports platform will act like an exchange would with volume without the actual buys and sells. And then there's a lot of other things which are pretty proprietary that I'm not going to get into. But once crypto turns on, it opens up so many revenue streams and other options for us that it'll catapult us.
Yeah, that's what I've been waiting for too. So, like I said, we've been on this journey with you since it launched, and I've kind of been thinking about that, and what you just said makes me very excited because if you want to play, then you have to have, if you're going to do it in crypto, then you got to have that token, and then there's volume being generated off of that. So, if you set that up, if you get that approved and you get that set up, will DFS Mafia token be the only token you can use?
Initially, yes, just because it provides us with our main utility. But I've had more discussions about it and really open up to it doesn't take away from the use of DFSM within the project. If we say we open it up to accepting Bitcoin or Ethereum, Now you have a lot more people that would be interested in potentially using their Bitcoin or their Ethereum or whatever to play on our platform. We take profits from each one of those contests, just like fiat does, and then we use those profits to buy DFSM. So there's actually some more positive reasons to use other tokens as well, because of the fact that we can then use those profits to buy DFSM. We're obviously not selling the tokens. I mean, our whole idea is to buy up the supply, to pinch the supply, and help increase the price of the token.
Good deal, because you can't have mine. So let me ask you this: is there a way that on the back side of that, or the back end of that if somebody was to buy it, say with Bitcoin, that it actually transfers that to DFS Mafia to, so that there is a buy there, and then when they go ahead and maybe they win, so they cash out, they get it back in Bitcoin, and there's a buy sell there, or am I thinking too far?
No,
out?
I mean that's getting into some of the stuff that I want to hold back on a little bit,
okay.
But that is part. No, I can speak on a little bit. That is part of the idea. There's so many ways, and even beyond what you mentioned, where we can turn the fantasy sports platform into a way to generate insane volume for the project itself, whether it be through a tokens used to buy DFSM and then to sell it in the payouts. The only thing is it's really figuring out logistics on if there's a lot of price movement during the contest, how those numbers work out. But that's one of the big reasons getting crypto integrated, because there's just so many ways we can work this to our benefits, especially to help the price of DFSM.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I hadn't thought of that. So let me ask you this: when it comes to the platform itself, so we say DFSM, but what can people actually put wagers on? Are they putting wagers on games? Is it just fantasy sports? Can you explain to the people what that may look like if they've never logged in before?
Yeah, so right now it's a player prop style contest, so it's not betting, and that's a big thing that differentiates between fantasy sports and sports betting, is that fantasy sports is cumulative information like data and knowledge and accumulating points to rank you, whereas you could just bet money on an outcome, and if you get it right, you win money. You could get a player prop correct in fantasy sports, but it doesn't mean you're necessarily going to win any money. So it's more of a cumulative data and knowledge and skill than just more of a luck. So when you log into our platform, obviously deposit funds into your wallet, and you can enter contests. They have various entry fees, and the way it works is you're just selecting anywhere from 5 to 10, and it's preset, but you're selecting 5 to 10 players and selecting their over or under on their props. So initially, it's a very easy setup for even the most novice, fantasy sports player. If you've never played fantasy sports before, it's very easy to understand how it works. So just for example, say you have Josh Allen, I'll say over under 315 yards passing and rushing. And
always the under.
Always the over. So like the over, because he's projected for like 350 that game against the Chiefs, would be like maybe worth 80 points. And then the under would be worth like 100. So it's not even picking, the most, obvious choices, but you kind of got to pick some of the underdog plays too, because you might get them all right, but pick all the ones that are more favored to actually happen. But you might have somebody that picked a couple underdog picks, hitting the under or over, whatever one's worth more, and those end up paying out more than just getting them all right. So it's a lot of strategy and knowledge, but again, it's very easy because all you're doing is we have the pre-selected props. You're just picking, do you think they're going to go over or under whatever the selected stat is, and then it adds up the points on it.
I got to tell you too. So I let everybody know that where I live, you can't I can't actually bet. I guess if I walked into Kansas, I could, but I have logged on and I have played some of the free things that were there. It is a very easy platform to use for a guy that doesn't do a lot of FanDuel and things like that. I didn't have any questions. It was super easy so I hope people will check it out because it is very user friendly. And there's really nothing to be intimidated by that. I saw it. And I know that you guys are very active also when it comes to social media, and you guys are very active in Telegram and things like that. So I hope people check those things out and kind of see, maybe even go back in time and see where you started to where you are now, so they can have that security too, that you guys aren't going anywhere. Like, this is something that if you can't tell by the posts that you put out there and the things that are easily found, you are super passionate about this project, which is what got me interested in the first place.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, and we aren't the type of people, and we say this to everybody, but we really do mean it. We are not the type of people that will pry for things. But is there anything out there that you we haven't touched on that you want to discuss? Because I never want somebody to leave here and go, oh man, I wish we would have talked about XYZ.
Well, I will say, so two things, because I also promised the community I'd drop kind of a bomb in here.
Yeah, you did.
You did.
I was trying to be nice about it, but where's that bomb at?
Two things. I want to encourage everybody to jump into our Telegram, especially like we're using this NFL season as like a kickoff to the next step of our marketing and just community involvement and making people realize, like, look, bear market was here. We built through it. We didn't go anywhere. We're going to continue to build. I mean, I know you're kind of referring to it, but we just put up a post about how we just signed a 2-year contract to renew our API feed. That is not cheap. And I mean, we just signed a 2-year contract on us. We're not going anywhere. But I would encourage everybody, especially for during football games and during the football season, to jump into the Telegram and be active on the platform, even on the free side if you're not in one of our licensed states, because we're going to make it extremely exciting during games and during the contests, where we'll be doing random giveaways, constant buy contests, just random prizes for random giveaways and prizes for active users on the platform. So even if you didn't win, if you were just active on the platform every day, you have a more likely chance to, whether it's a signed sports memorabilia or DFS token drop. I do that all the time, and that's going to be continuous throughout the season. And then like in the Telegram, it's going to be going bonkers between constant buys and just, oh, you're active in the Telegram, I'm sending you this autographed Jonathan Taylor rookie card, whatever. So we want to use that NFL season to build the excitement. And I mean, I'm a very giving person. I like to give out things. Like, I don't take a salary from this company. I don't sell tokens. I don't do anything. I love to give back to the community. So you'll be seeing a lot of, they call me the Mafia Santa. I have a little meme that comes out. He's making an early appearance this year with the NFL season, so he's a very giving person. But
no, and you know what, Dan, that is 100% true too, because I want to share some things that I've seen throughout the year, and one of the things that I am the most disappointed about is the fact that I didn't win the Forrest Griffin autograph gloves, because I thought that was one of the coolest prizes that was out there. I saw that. I was like, oh, I really want those, because I've been a huge fan of his forever. But you're right. Go ahead.
Did you see how he did videos for each person that won too?
I heard that. Yeah, that hurt just a little bit more inside that I didn't win.
Right now, I'll tell him to send you a pair.
That would be awesome. I'll wear them to the next podcast. I'll talk like this.
I'm gonna make that happen now.
That would be so sweet.
Have him record it and then just be like, Holly's the best bro.
No, that will ruin it, Holly. That will ruin it. No, but you know what, Dan, I do want to say something before you get to you dropping some bombs here too. But
yes,
what we have seen throughout this journey is transparency for your project, open lines of communication through your project. I have seen you guys with the giveaways to the people that are active. I've seen the things that you say are going to happen, and I don't know that they're, besides not winning Forrest Griffin gloves, I don't know that I've ever been disappointed with a project. And I don't say that lightly, because I know sometimes people do watch this, and we always say not for financial advice, but there are people that will go, oh, they're really behind this, I had to get into something. But I do say it because it's true, because I have not seen anything that would make me think that this isn't 100% not only just legit, but something that people can get behind and really enjoy the ride and play games while they're doing it, So kudos to you guys, because this is something we've been super excited about. And you know what? I was supposed to wear a Chiefs jersey today, and I just remembered I have a DFS Mafia hoodie in my closet. I should have just put that on. Yeah, I actually have.
Wait, I don't know. Have merch, because I thought that it was dropping next week.
No, there was a way to get merch a long time ago.
We did initially launch the merch through a provider out of the UK, and just the shipping times were delayed all the time. I know they had some issues
It
with
took
the
a
post
while to
office.
get it. Yeah.
Yeah, they had some shipping issues, and then I mean, I'm transparent with everybody, like you said, and I wasn't satisfied with the quality. Like some of the stuff was showing up, the sizing was different.
The
I
sizing
mean, when
was
they
an
sent me
issue.
my samples, they had dirt on the sleeves of the white hoodie. I was like, so it was a very short stint with them. Luckily now we actually have somebody within our community that is local here in Buffalo that's going to be doing it, so
Awesome.
I can have more hands-on, involvement. He's a diehard DFS person too, so we don't have to worry about him going anywhere. He's actually friends, with me. So, yeah, we're relaunching the merch on Monday. We'll have some fun stuff to go with that as well, but much better quality. We're stuff all the time for DFSM, obviously.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
just
a super merch girl, so I
yeah,
love.
I have DFS Mafia
Right
merch.
now, I have like every crypto shirt out there, so I'm so excited. That's like really exciting to me that you guys are coming out with your merch line. I'm so looking forward to the white shirt with the DFS in blue. I already have it picked out. I'm excited.
Yeah, funny story, Dan, is that did take a while to get here, and I know you got new suppliers, so we can say this because I don't want anything that I would say to hurt anything, but I actually gave up on it showing up, and then one day it just showed up in the mail. It literally was like 60 days later. I was like, oh, I did get my sweatshirt. So, and then the sizing was a little bit different too. So I'm glad you're going with a different company.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing that bothered me. I don't want our community getting anything less than 100%. So
Yep.
that's why we stopped advertising it. We cut off ties and found something better.
Gotcha. So Dan, what else you got for us?
Oh, go ahead.
So I know you guys liked that Las Vegas billboard post, and the community really liked that one too. There was more to it, so we got a pretty good deal. Two other parts. So we are launching another PR campaign. Actually, the guys just messaged me while we're on the call here. We're doing another PR push through a bunch of different websites, Yahoo, Fox News, things like that. Spread the word. Really, like I said, using the NFL season as a catapult for our next step of really branching out. But I thought one that was also really cool that we can advertise in and try to build our user base too is we'll also, the exact same time as the billboard in Las Vegas we'll be running a billboard in front of SpaceX for a week with a promo code to sign up for the platform, which, because we're licensed in California to build users out there. So we'll actually have a billboard in California running in front of SpaceX and one in Las Vegas at the same time, starting right before the NFL season next week and lasting through the first weekend of football.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Very cool. Yeah, so Vegas is our jam. That we actually spent our 1 year anniversary there and had a great time. Where's the billboard at in Vegas?
I remember the boulevard. I mean, it's right by one of the major hotels.
Okay.
I don't remember what the street was, but I posted it in our Telegram. The guy sent me a video of where exactly the billboard is, and then they have people on the ground that'll go up there and take photos and videos for us, so that
it looks like it's right behind the MGM Grand.
Yeah,
right behind the MGM Grand. So that's very, very cool.
I think it's great because not a whole lot of people promote crypto in Las Vegas, and actually, I'm not even sure it's allowed, or it might have not been back then. Because I always wondered why somebody hasn't promoted, like, got a billboard there, and then I heard rumors it wasn't allowed, and so I think this is awesome because there's so many people in Vegas.
And our thing about it is fantasy sports too, which that's the nice thing about it is it's promoted as sports instead of just crypto. So
right,
that's good.
Yeah,
that's very awesome, Dan. Very, very awesome.
Very awesome. And then SpaceX, who doesn't want to promote?
I don't know. It was a package deal. I was like, give us the discount if we do both of them, and then we'll do a PR campaign with it as well. And I'll tell you this just to build the suspense on it. I keep dropping a little bit more bigger and bigger information of what we're doing. We have a major event that has been locked in that'll be announcing probably this. Yeah, actually, it's already public in some places, so I don't know how long I can keep it quiet. But I'll be announcing a big event this weekend, and then probably right before the NFL season, I'll be announcing really big news when it comes to DFSM and revenue sharing. I know it's a big one that people have been interested in. You'll see that we're here to stay and that I'm personally fully invested when I drop that bomb, because that bomb will show how giving I really am and how I'm fully behind the project and how I want to see everybody make money. So the bombs continue to increase. I've got other ones too, but I keep building them up to bigger and better things each time I drop something.
Any other bomb you want to share today?
Oh, I'm like, are you sure you?
Breaking news.
You know what? Screw it, because I got to announce it this weekend anyway. And you guys are dropping this till tomorrow, right?
Right. It drops Friday around noon each tomorrow.
All right, we'll drop it tomorrow because I don't know how long I keep this a secret, but there was rumblings about it, and I announced some information on it earlier this year. But we are hosting our first annual DFSM celebrity hockey game, and it's going to be here in Buffalo at Buffalo River Works, which is a outdoor facility. It's right on the water. They got multiple rinks, and then they have like a huge restaurant. They're going to be backing the promotion on it and sponsoring it not sponsoring, but hosting it. And it's Brad May versus Rob Ray in a celebrity hockey game. People can sign up and play with their athletes. Our patch will be on the jerseys. We'll be able to advertise. There's a meet and greet VIP after the event. It's pretty huge.
So like I can buy tickets and go to this?
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out exactly how the ticketing is going to go. I know the players will get a +1, so with their guests, and then we're going to be selling some tickets to the VIP after party with Brad May and Rob Ray. They have like a Q&A session. They have food. You can get pictures and autographs with them and things like that too. It's funny because this opportunity came to me through somebody within our community that played semi-pro hockey, and Rob Ray was always my favorite player as a kid. Like, I loved watching him. Obviously, Brad May was up there too, the dog pound line in the 90s. But Ray was I met him multiple times, coolest guy in the world. And the opportunity now to be coaching him in a celebrity hockey game that we're sponsoring, and it's titled too, first annual DFSM Celebrity Shinny Hockey Game. We plan on running this every year here in Buffalo, and actually, as long as everything works out, we want to expand it into other territories as well and sponsor it throughout the country.
Wow, maybe we ought to host a podcast that same weekend in Buffalo.
That'd be cool.
Trip to Buffalo. I love New York, so
that will be awesome. Maybe you could hook us up and we'd be able to maybe interview a couple people or something like that too. I don't know. That's awesome though. Things like that, I think, is you guys are very community driven already, but things like that just bring people even closer together. And plus it gets the name out. I mean, it just checks all the boxes. That is very, very cool. Very cool.
It's really about our idea is to build the brand. Like, we're going to be expanding upon like our merch line too. It's not going to be strictly just DFSM, but more sports themed to build in a bigger revenue system on that side. But to be able to do something like this, and I want to build it. We have a charity that we've partnered up with that we're going to be building some stuff in with them as well into our platform, and then I'd like to involve them in this tournament or this hockey game as well. So it's surreal because I've been in crypto, like I said, a long time, and then to be part of a project that has the opportunity to, I got Forrest Griffin's cell phone number in my phone, or I talk to NFL pros and host celebrity hockey games. It's a cool experience, and I think it's humbling at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, Dan, I'm pretty sure I'm pretty good read of character. I'm not sure it could happen to a better guy, but congratulations on all your success. But I do have to spill the beans on one story before we get into Caleb's choice, so that we can get to know you a little bit better. So for those people that don't know, we have been following for a long, long time, and at one point actually had you scheduled to come on the program, and for reasons we won't get into, that fell through. But we had one of our most famous taste tests was scheduled for that week, and we didn't think it was going to be so bad, but we sent you sour pickle balls. So for you, and I don't think you told us that you weren't the one that tasted it. Your son was. Is that correct?
Oh.
Yeah, I left it on the kitchen table next to my computer, and he decided he wanted to try to steal Dad's candy. And he found out the hard way that it wasn't exactly Dad's candy that he should have taken. So I came home and he said, "Why did you buy that? That was horrible." And I was like, "It was supposed to be for you, and it was supposed to be kind of a prank or joke to see." So Yeah, let's just say he regretted taking that off the table.
It was horrible, but I think that also goes towards your character, the fact they actually came back and you actually did come on the program, because the worst thing we've had, I think we can all agree that was even worse than the one chip challenge.
Yeah.
The sour pickleball was the absolute worst thing. I'm glad you couldn't come on that week, because I'd have felt horrible that you actually tried that.
That was awful.
None of us had any idea it'd be that bad.
Yeah, no, I had no idea. It was awful. Awful. Ugh.
So thanks for setting that aside. Greg.
It would suck, but
I would not eat it again.
I spit it out.
That was the only bad one.
But thanks for putting that aside and coming on today. It has been an absolute pleasure. I would love to have you back on in the future where we can catch up as the progress is made. Maybe we get closer to that charity hockey game. When is that game, by the way? Do you have a date set?
It's December 8th here in Buffalo. So there's going to be 2 games back to back. It's a Friday evening. So.
Okay, December 8th. Well, maybe when we get closer to that, maybe, we can, if we are able to make it out there, maybe we can get you on for just a short segment just to say hi. But we tell this to all the people that we really appreciate and that we really like and that we think are coming from the right spot. If there's ever anything we can do for you, please just let us know what that is. No question is too big or too silly for us. We want to help. We just don't always know how. So please, if there's ever anything we can do, let us know. Like I said, for those that maybe are just watching this part of it, we've been following you for a really long time and seeing the trajectory of what you guys have been accomplishing and are rooting for you guys the entire way. So congratulations. I think you guys have a huge future ahead of you, and I know it couldn't happen to a better guy. So best of luck, man, for sure.
I really appreciate that.
I'm going in that Telegram, dang it. I don't really do many platforms. Discord, the only reason I'm even on here is because of this podcast. Like, that is the truth. So if there's anything that you guys need, Twitter-wise, just reach out. Just send it my way, and I'll, tweet it out and stuff. I don't always see everybody's posts. It drives me nuts. But I have recently started seeing your guys' a whole lot more. And so I'm like, oh, yes. So I have been trying to retweet and get the word out as much as I can, because I think that you guys have something very special with this platform. So
thank you.
Agreed. And a lot of the people that are retweeting your things, you've got really good community members out there that represent your brand well, even though they may not be part of the brand. But I follow several people from that follow you guys, and it's been an awesome journey, man. I don't know if I can say in words how excited we've been to know, since we've known you guys were coming on, how excited we've been to this build up. And hopefully we did it some justice, because I don't really get starstruck, so to say, but I'm super excited to have this podcast today and have you on here, because I feel like in a way we've been part of DFSM without anybody knowing that we really were, except for us telling people, check it out, because we loved what we saw. So
I can definitely attest. They were very excited when I was like, hey guys, I think I could get Eric reached out to me, or Davis reached out to me and said, if DFS Mafia could come on the podcast. And I was like, duh, like, we've been wanting them for a very long time. Like, when I told the bros, they were excited. I think
been at the top of the list for a long time, and I get to check it off. So
there you go.
For sure. Well, you guys, absolutely. Are you guys ready to do Caleb's Choice?
Do it.
It's time for Caleb's Choice.
His choice, his rules.
Are we good now?
All right. You didn't even try to guess, Holly. I thought you were going to give it a shot.
His rules.
I'll see the little thing at least, and I see nothing. So I'm like,
that's when you're going to nail it, though. All right, Caleb, what do you got for us?
Well, I don't know if you guys saw this a couple of weeks ago, but the Major League Baseball had a Little League Classic, and it was the Nationals versus the Phillies.
Yep.
They had customized bats. Or like painted, like one was like a pencil, one was like a marker, or different things like that. What would your customized bat be?
Customized bat.
Yeah, they look pretty cool.
I heard about it. My sister is really big into baseball, period, and softball, and they were watching it, and they said it was a very great game up until the very end. But
when you started this question, Caleb, I thought you were going to start, or you were going to talk about the home run derby where that kid got smashed in the face. Because I don't, things like that make me laugh. I don't really know why. Maybe I'm just a mean-spirited person, but that was hilarious to me.
I think a one. Mine would be like
Tinkerbell.
Yep.
Tinkerbell one. Okay.
Yeah.
And when you hit the ball, like fairy dust comes out.
Oh, that would be amazing. Oh, that would be amazing.
What's yours, Caleb? You've had time to think about this.
I was thinking they could paint it up to look like Captain Caveman's like club.
Oh, that's a good one.
Little Billy Club thing, yeah.
Mine would be lightsaber.
That was my guess for you, Greg.
Wow.
That's a good one too.
Dan, do you have one?
I had a funny one. I was just gonna say we could have one with NFL logos and coins on it for the coin toss. So I can snap that bat.
Hey, let's go there for a second, Dan. Let's go there for a second. No. Because I actually did feel really, really bad for the Bills. But what everyone forgets is that exact same thing happened to the Chiefs against New England when we lost. They won the coin toss, and we never got the ball. Partially because D Ford was offsides whenever we intercepted Brady. I won't go into that, D Ford. Not a fan. But it is kind of funny because it does suck. And, it happened to the Bills, and that was, a big deal. Because we all knew in that game with the Chiefs and the Bills that whoever got the ball first in overtime was going to win because the defenses were done. I think they were exhausted. And it just happened to be we got the coin.
Yeah.
But people forget that. Go ahead.
It was a mixture of the fact that, obviously both defenses were spent, but it was just like, I mean, what was there? 28 points scored in the last 2 minutes of that game or something.
Yeah.
And it was just 31 points in the last 2 minutes. So you ruin a perfect ending to a game by having it decided by essentially a coin toss. Because I've been saying it forever, long before that game, that I hated the NFL rules in the overtime. If anything, I prefer them going to college football rules where you just start on the 25 and you get 4 down, something stupid like that. But I mean, the fact that they changed it after that, but then still only changed it for the playoffs, just shows that, like, it's obviously a stupid rule the way they had it before, and they just changed it for the playoffs when it made the biggest difference. But they just ruined a perfect game by having it decided that way.
I will tell you, I'm all for the college rule overtime in the NFL, except for the fact I think that AFC Championship game with the Chiefs and the Bills would still be going on today. I'm not sure any of those defenses were ever. I mean, it would have taken a wide receiver dropping a pass or a running back fumbling or something like that, because those defenses were not stopping anyone. If the Bills, I firmly believe with everything that I am, that if the Bills got the ball, they go to the Super Bowl, because we weren't stopping you guys and you guys weren't stopping us. And so I just always thought it was funny that got a lot of attention. But when Brady did it against us, nobody really talked about it, because I guess it's Tom Brady, so whatever.
Yeah, right.
You're going to go with a coin toss on the bat. I think what I would do is I was going to go lightsaber too, but I think I would just have like Harley Quinn's bat.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Ooh.
Oh, wow. There you go.
All right.
Like that. All right, second
I want to have
question.
spikes on it.
You want like barbed wire around it?
Yeah.
Ooh, like Negan in the Walking
Negan's
Dead.
bat.
Negan's bat, yeah.
There you go.
All right, we all go to a baseball game together, and it's dollar dog night. How many dogs are you eating?
0.
I'll eat
If
one.
you got $1,000 per dog that you ate and kept down,
50.
you have to be able to keep them down.
Well, that's the problem, because
If you
the
get
last
sick,
time I
you
went to
can't.
last time I had dollar hot dog night, I got sick because they were bad at Kauffman Stadium. They were horrid. And I bought 2 and ate half one and got sick.
Oh.
That's why I said 0. But if you're going to pay me money
10.
to eat them,
10.
I'll get sick over it.
I was thinking 18.
Yeah.
18. I could
Thinking
eat 10.
2 an inning.
Yeah, spread them out.
Maybe I'll throw 50.
50?
I mean, if I was getting paid $1,000, I'd eat as much as I possibly
And I'm
could.
just buying
But if you
numbers.
get sick, you lose all your money.
Oh,
10.
damn.
Oh,
Yeah, so you have to be careful.
Then I look up 5 max. Like, I don't know if I can even eat 5.
I could probably
Plain.
put down 15 or 20, but I just,
Do you have to
those
eat the
dollar
bun?
hot dogs are not the same.
Do you have to
Yeah,
eat the
they're
bun?
something
Something-
different.
Or just a hot dog?
Oh, I couldn't eat those
Bun
dollar
and
hot
hot
dogs
dog.
without the bun.
Oh, me neither. Oh,
We're talking about, I mean, quantity. here.
Slimy, nasty. Yeah, but we're also talking about the dude that liked the sour pickle balls.
Yeah, true.
true.
So he's going to be richer than all
I
of
didn't
us.
like them, but I'd eat them for money.
How many hot dogs could you eat, Dan?
and hold it down.
Yeah.
We're getting $1,000 dog. I don't know. I'll do 20.
All
All
right.
right.
That's, I mean, I couldn't do it, but 20
See,
for,
I thought Caleb's would be bigger than 18.
yeah. I know, I was going to say Caleb could probably do 20.
I want to keep it down, though. I want to make my money. I just
True.
figured two every inning. I could do that.
Yeah, I can believe
Hey,
that.
that actually isn't a bad strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still
All
don't
right.
think I can do it, but
All right, Slugger.
The last question is: what player in the past from your favorite football team would you like to bring back from their prime to put in your team this year? That would help your team.
oh,
Bono.
Bettis the bus.
Bettis?
I love the
Bettis.
bus.
Bus, yeah.
Dan, did you say one?
Mine be one of two. I don't know. I say 1A would be Andre Reed because
Yeah.
giving Allen a second weapon like Diggs. So Andre Reed. If my 1B would be Bruce Smith. Have Von Miller
Oh.
and Bruce Smith.
That was my guess. Yeah, I was going to guess Bruce Smith for you, but
I thought I was going to guess Thurman Thomas for you.
I think James Cook's be good. I think we could use another
Yeah.
star wide receiver running back because that's how our offense runs.
So we got the bus, and we got Andre Reed and Bruce Smith. Greg, who do you got?
I don't know.
I know who I got.
Maybe
Yeah.
I would say Barry Sanders.
What
Okay.
for the Lions?
Yeah, like if you could bring him
Okay.
back and put him. I mean, because he had a kind of a sucky team, but if you could place him.
Oh, you mean bring him to the Chiefs? I was thinking like an old Chiefs player to bring him to the
Yep.
Chiefs.
Mm.
I'm going. Caleb knows who I'm going with. Derek Thomas.
I was going to pick him too, but
If that dude was on this Chiefs team and he could get close to 20 sacks, seriously would be really hard to beat. Especially if Chris Jones was in the interior line. I think Chris Jones, Derek Thomas would be more of a headache than Neil Smith and Derek Thomas ever were.
oh yeah.
Taken way too soon in a car accident, but that guy was unreal. Like he was as close to Lawrence Taylor as you can get. He just wasn't quite as mean. He had too much of a smile. But no, I would love to see Derek Thomas on this Chiefs team.
I was going to pick that one too, but since I knew you were going to pick that one, I did Jamal Charles.
Ooh.
Oh man.
That'd be a good
Yeah.
running back to have.
Him or Priest home in this offense
Yeah.
would be
Was
that
it supposed to be a Chiefs?
it wouldn't be fair.
Whoever you wanted.
Okay.
All right, so Holly, what's your question?
All right, so mine is totally not sports related.
I assumed.
All right.
It's gonna give me a headache. I know it always does.
Yes. Okay, but would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses in a battle for world domination?
Do I get weapons?
No.
No.
then I'm going with the 100 duck-sized horses because I don't think I can take down anything that's the size of a horse. I don't care if it's a duck or not.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna be kicking
100?
some horses all over the place. I'm gonna get my steel-toed boots out and start smashing little duck horses. That could be a video game.
Right.
this is really good.
Welcome
What?
to my odd questions, Dan. Like, I have the weirdest questions, so.
I wonder what the prop bet
I'd
would
take
be on
my-
that.
I take my odds on the big
The one big duck.
big duck.
You gotta take it out.
I'd get
That
on top. You gotta
giant
get on top
duck
of
bill gets you, and you're done.
it. Oh, yeah, you get on its
done.
back and choke it out. That's best bet. 100 little horses.
I don't think you put your arms
Horses
around a
can
horse.
bite.
neck.
100 little horses, 100 tiny ones about this
Yeah, but
big.
horses can bite. Pretty good.
That
They
is-
can bite my steel-toed boots.
Shoot, and they got hooves. Imagine
Mhm.
100 of them. Actually,
And they run
400.
really fast.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a lot of work, 100. I'm taking my chances too with one.
No, you give me a shotgun, and it'll be real bloody, real fast.
Right. No weapons.
What about you, Dan?
Yeah, I would have to go with the 100 duck-sized horses. Just booting those things. I'm Steve Christieing those all over the place.
Yeah, I would
I like
say that Lynn Elliott, but then I would die because I would miss everything left. Yeah, Caleb, what are you picking?
Take the challenge of the giant duck.
There we go.
See, you might be able to beat the giant duck, but I don't think Holly and Greg have a prayer of beating the giant duck.
I don't think I have a prayer of beating 100 horses either.
But it'd be fun to watch.
Yeah, I could probably
100's a
go
lot.
right
Video
on
it.
the mini horse.
100's a lot more than you think.
That's a
All
lot
right.
of little horses.
Yeah.
Well, Dan, thank you for being a good sport through Caleb's Choice. And thanks for coming on the podcast. I know we've kept you really long, but I think there was a lot of good information that you shared, and I appreciate you dropping some exclusive bombs on the program. And I think people are going to be really excited to see it. So once again, thank you very much. I give you the floor. If there's anything else that you want to share or talk about that maybe we missed, the floor is yours.
No, I just want to say thank you guys for your continued support. I apologize for not being able to come on earlier. Obviously I handle a lot of different parts of our operation. And I mean, for those who don't know, I work like 100 hours a week outside of crypto, do a lot of multitasking and things, but I got 3 little ones myself. So sleep is not a thing for me. So trying to, to make time for things is pretty difficult, but I'm glad I was able to get on here. You guys are awesome. And I appreciate the support. So I look forward to the next time I come on too.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And there will be a next time. So we appreciate you.
And next
for-
time we're gonna do the taste test. Maybe
Yeah.
not pickleballs,
Yeah.
but
Next
Yeah.
time you're not getting out of the taste test, but we're not doing sour pickleballs. At least I'm not.
It's gonna
I
be
will
good
never
whatever
do
it
that
is.
again.
Mm.
Apologize.
it won't be that bad.
Yeah, apologize
No,
to your
it never
kid for
is.
us. We never meant to poison him,
him.
but
You learned a lesson, so it's fine.
there you go.
Dad's candy.
Well, guys, enjoy your long weekend and God bless.
Be kind.
You too. Thank you.
I'm Caleb. Please like and subscribe.